Here we are. That's what I think. It's exactly the same thing I said last week. Here we are.
Purple.
I don't have my thing.
Purple.
You should always have it. You should always.
I have it. I just
purple.
got
Green. Purple.
Jeff and I are wearing purple and green, except we're on the wrong.
This is what it looks like to work across the aisle. This is what bipartisanship is.
Right.
Maybe try it, world.
We are recording this one a little early, Jeff, in our normal record schedule in our week. These last several weeks have felt a little weird. Like our schedules have just been
weird.
Whatever. This is the third episode in a row, Jeff, where I have done my Brent Watches video and turned around and within under an hour we're recording the episode.
Yeah. So I texted Brent. I texted him. I'm like, hey, are we good? You know, what time you want to go? And you're like, I just started.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We're good. Yeah, we'll do it. So here we are. Here we are.
Yeah, real life, just being real life, man. That's all it is. But anyway, we are here. I'm actually really glad though, because I don't have to think about these for that long. Like I can just do it and move on.
Let's move forward. There's some stuff in this one though. I'm excited. There's at least one part of this episode that I'm eager to get your thoughts on.
The death of Byron.
I know those thoughts.
Well, let's jump into that. Hey, for you guys out there joining us on YouTube, first of all, welcome. You guys are awesome. Jeff and I are about to record an audio podcast called Babylon 5 for the first time. You guys are here. This is the episode in its full, unedited, raw version. I mean, this is the sushi of podcasting right here.
Except sushi's generally safe to eat. I don't know that this is going to be that.
This is the sashimi of podcasting right here. And yeah, so you guys get that. It really, this is just for you guys to laugh at us and catch all the bloopers and everything that happened for that. When you guys are here, make sure you like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Jeff, we are here at the end of the telepath war.
Well, sort of.
We've been asking for this for a long time.
The end or the beginning of it.
No, don't. No. Don't you dare go there. Dare go there. We'll see. Oh, you know.
Hey, listen, we'll talk about this. Comment down below. We have one ask when you make comments. No spoilers. I'm not going to call anybody out here, but last couple episodes, we've had a couple people try and, say a couple things about the rest of season 5. We'll get there, right? We will get there. Please, nothing. That makes the show more fun for us, but it makes this show better for you. If we are spoiled in any way, or we know, hey, the next episode's going to be great or whatever, that's going to influence how we show up for this. So please, no spoilers for the 99.5% of you out there that are doing that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Jeff, I think you just rewrote my ending notes for this whole episode.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about it. All right, Jeff, hit that magic button. Let's get into this.
At least I should have coughed him just once.
Humans form communities.
And from that diversity comes a strength.
Now get the hell out of our galaxy!
The year is 2024.
The name of the podcast, Babylon 5.
For the first time.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time, not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Akin, and I am the one who was.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I am the one who will be.
And we're watching Babylon 5 for the first time for you, the one who is.
That's right. Jeff and I are two veteran Star Trek podcasters, and our goal, our mission, our purpose here is to search for the important messages that Babylon 5 is delivering in its own unique way.
And this is not, Brent, a Star Trek podcast.
No.
Not at all. And because it's not, we limit ourselves on our references by playing the most exciting game, maybe the second exciting game that we play here on Babylon 5 for the first time. It's called the Rule of 3. This is a game that limits us to no more than 3 references to Star Trek total For this episode,
That's it. 3. Uno, dos, tres. No substitutions, exchanges, or refund.
But if we make one of those references,
we get to play everybody's favorite sound.
literally nobody likes that sound.
I think there's two things we get a ton of feedback on in this show. One is what you're about to talk about. The other one is, can you get a different sound for that? And here, let me help you out. No.
We're 4.5 seasons into a 5-season arc. Yeah, we're not changing at this point. Oh, Jeff. Hey, listen, along with our rule of 3, there is another game we like to play. It's the most famous game that we play here. It's the game where we get to the end of the show and we predict what next week's episode is going to be about. Well, this is the part where we look back on last week and our predictions and we see just how right or wrong they were. That's right. It is time.
Time to pay the piper.
Jeff, what was your prediction last week?
Byron is going to die. That will incite people into a war. The Phoenix won't be him himself, but his legacy.
I'm giving you, I've never done this before, Jeff. I'm giving you an I. You know what an I is?
Is that an incomplete?
It's an incomplete. Because we don't know that that's what's happening just yet.
We know that's what they painted. No. Remember Byron everywhere.
No, but we don't know that this is going to launch something bigger or something like that. It might. We don't know that.
Headquarters. They bombed the headquarters.
Yeah. We don't know just yet though. We haven't seen the full deal just yet.
I'll tell you what. I will take a perfect score with an asterisk. I will Sammy Sosa this thing.
I will 1000% give you that because I think you're right because everything is leading towards that. It is. Yeah, I'll give that one to you.
What was your guess?
It was basically the end of the telepath war. This is going to be part 2 of last week, and it was just going to be this big, make it something huge, and be the end of the war. That's what I thought it was going to be.
I'm going to give you half a point with an asterisk because this could be the end. Don't think it will be. Could be. And yeah, it was a big old thing. A big old thing happened.
I think this was the end that I was expecting, but you said something right before we hit record, Jeff, that has me rethinking my ending feelings on this episode, even right now as we talk.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
The power of conversation and discussion right there.
Jeff, let me ask you a question. How often have you walked into this show thinking one way about an episode or having certain thoughts, and by the time we were done with our conversation, you left having a different understanding or feeling about an episode?
Oh, a good chunk of times.
Yeah.
I think one that I think of really well is Comes the Inquisitor. I still don't think that was a good episode, but what you offered in there, I see it in an entirely different light than I did before. I don't like it, but I thought the way you brought it up was like, oh, that's actually that's a cool way of seeing the episode. It makes it better. But
was it a testing or a teaching?
Right, exactly.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. It was a great conversation.
It's actually fun. One of the cool things about our show is it's evergreen, which means people come in and they can start from the beginning at any time and feel like they're riding along with us. Or at least we try. We strive to make it as evergreen as we possibly can. Somebody just like a new listener who's been listening through, they just got through that episode and they were talking about the whole teaching versus trial. So anyway,
it's the magic of making the show evergreen. Sorry, I couldn't not.
Jeff, you look really good sitting over there in your
purple.
Oh, look at that.
Well, Jeff, for folks out there who may be wondering what the heck happened in this episode, I don't remember because it's been so long since I've seen it. Or maybe they're going, yeah, I didn't see it. I just came across your podcast and you guys sound really good. You got these nice, cool, melodic voices. Remind the folks out there what this episode really was about.
Well, in this one, we get right into it. There are 3 camps of telepaths and the mundanes caught in the middle on Babylon 5. You've got Byron still leading his hunger strike, Thomas with his group that left Byron's compound leading the violent resistance, and you've got Bester leading his bloodhounds and psychops out to wrangle them all up. And in the middle, Lockley and Sheridan are trying to clean this whole thing up. Early on, we find out that Bester and Byron actually go way back. As a strong P12, Byron was not only a Psi Cop, but a member of Black Omega and a protege of Bester's. Like other Psi Cops, he spent his days snagging blips, and he was super good at it. Until one day, Bester did as Bester does and ordered him to not only snag the blips, but blowed up the mundanes that were trying to protect and smuggle them too. He didn't want to, but he did. And that changed him into the plain, flat pancake of a non-violent failed cult leader that we know today. Outside of that, this Thomas dude grabs some hostages from MedLab, including Dr. Franklin and Garibaldi. He makes his demands that are basically, hey, let us go, give us safe passage, and then let's sit down and, have a civilized conversation about giving us a homeworld. If you don't do that, though, we will kill the hostages. This leads to a familiar scene, one that we saw, it feels like 47 weeks ago, where Garibaldi is clutching an old gateway monitor while Sheridan tells Thomas he won't negotiate with terrorists. First time we saw this, we thought Garibaldi got blasted, but no. Byron, non-violent Byron, blasts Thomas. He has become that which he hates. Oh, poor Byron. Personally defeated, he makes an offer to Sheridan and Lockley. Arrest the violent people, including himself, and let the rest go. Just take the Psycops off the table. After conferring with EarthGov, they agree. Hooray! The day is saved. Until the day gets really weird. Bester and his bloodhounds intercept them as security's arresting Byron's offenders, and he throws a fit. One of Byron's dudes takes a shot at Bester, and all hell breaks loose. Some teeps go down, a chemical spill starts pouring out, and then the shooting stops. Despite Sheridan trying to stop Byron, and even Lita trying to talk some sense into him, while everybody else just stands around watching, Byron decides that, I got no choice. And he shoots the chemical spill, blowing up the telepaths, except Lita, who agreed to leave. That's kind of it. Byron and the violent telepaths are suddenly dead. Even Bester's confused at what happened. He basically tells Sheridan that the real enemy are the mundanes. And then he takes off. Lita sees all the surviving telepaths off with a message that we'll hear echoed in a news report that says the Psi-Corps headquarters on Earth got blowed up with the phrase, "Remember Byron," left at the scene. Luckily, though, Bester got more out of his visit than watching his old protege shoot a puddle. He got to spend some time with Garibaldi, and it went down exactly how he wanted it to. Garibaldi had his PPG charged and aimed ready to unleash hell on him for the hell that he put him through. But he just couldn't do it. You see, Bester Asimov'd him. First law, Garibaldi cannot harm Bester or, through a failure to act, allow him to be harmed. It's a hard-coded neural lock. He asks Franklin for help, but that whole being hostages thing kind of got in the way of that. So the episode ends with him taking a drink of Afterburner Whiskey. Brent, Garibaldi fell off the wagon in this one. How did you do with Phoenix Rising?
Jeff, for an episode that was supposed to be this big climactic battle is what it's really where it felt like this episode was going to go. Like, I had so much hope for this episode. This big legendary telepath war we've heard about. It's been spoken of 500 years in the future as being this big flashpoint, this turning point. This whole episode, like the rest of the Byron episodes, fell so flat. It was so just, Normally, Walter Koenig comes in as Bester and elevates an episode. And my God, if he elevated this episode, how low was it before him? You know, um, so much of it was hokey. There were acting choices that were awful. There were plot pieces that just didn't make sense. The logical flow of things were predictable. Characters were acting out of character just to service the plot. It just so much of this episode was just ugh. And again, it you know what it is? You know the biggest sin I think it committed? It didn't live up to my expectations.
That's a big sin.
Although, to be fair, my expectations have been set because of how good Babylon 5 as a show has been, and this is not measuring up to where we've been. It's easier, I think, to give grace to the earlier seasons where the show hasn't hit the mountaintop yet, but once the show hits the mountaintop and then the other seasons are lower, it just makes those episodes harder to swallow. And I think that's where we are right now. These episodes are just hard to swallow. How about you, Jeff?
You just said is interesting because one of my first thoughts was this was an okay episode of TV, but this is Babylon 5, not just TV, and fine isn't good enough for for Babylon 5. This episode just didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't want to talk, and then he did want to talk, and then he got his way, and then somebody on his team went off script, so I'm going to blow everybody up? Like, just like last week where his string of logic, I think it was last week, just completely fell apart. Same thing, like there's no cohesion through his thinking on this at all. This is one that some of my people out there are going to understand. I think this entire storyline, and Byron specifically, is the initial release of Mass Effect Andromeda, just without the cool combat system and the profile thing that came in. Like, it's full of bugs. There's inconsistencies. I don't know. Like, it's clear that there's going to be more of this telepath stuff, and it is not possible for me to care less about it. I just don't care. We know it's going to be fine because Deconstruction of Falling Stars told us. So can we just wrap this up next episode and pretend it never happened?
Yep.
Wow, this has been a rough string of episodes.
Yeah. What you just said there, Jeff, is the cardinal sin of television. It was boring.
It was boring.
It didn't make me I didn't care. I just didn't care. You made me ambivalent to the whole thing.
The peak. Let's just cut right to the end. But the peak when Byron and Lita are holding each other and in this impassioned, go save yourself. I'm just looking at the whole thing being like, who are these people?
You know what that felt like to me? And I don't mean to genderfy something. This felt like a chick flick on a Lifetime special.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, this isn't sci-fi. This isn't the political commentary we've come to know from Babylon 5. This is just dumb and
it's garbage sitcom romance.
But it's not even, if it was sitcom, I'd be laughing at it. It's not even that.
That's
like
fair.
I'm sure this is tugging at some heart. I mean, the score and it's just, and I'm sure there might be some people out there who are really touched by the whole situation.
The thing is, though, it's not even Lita. Like, that's not the character of Lita that we've seen up to, like, in that moment.
She's been so betrayed by this writing.
Very much. It's
really
just everything she says in that moment. It's just, this isn't who she is. Mm-hmm. And Byron can be anybody because he's been 6 different characters in the time that he's been on here. So fine.
Yeah. I will say this about Byron. If I would have known before this moment, I would have, charged up the tachyon beam and sent these vibes back in time to JMS. Do you know what would have made all of this so much better? Is if they would have given this the Avengers Infinity War treatment. Do you know the biggest problem with Marvel movies?
I'm curious what you think.
Villains. The
Oh.
villains are the biggest problem with Marvel
time.
movies. You want to know why? Because they're underdeveloped.
Yeah, who cares?
There's no reason for them to be doing what they're doing. They're just doing it, and our heroes have to go fix it. Right? Like that is consistently, especially through those first 3 phases of Marvel, if you guys understand what that means. They're just awful. I mean, Ronin was one of the worst. Just so all the Iron Man villains are just awful. The Ant-Man like they're just bad.
Then you get to Infinity War.
Then you get to Infinity War where you have Thanos. And let's face it, I know that Infinity War is called Avengers Infinity War. Infinity War was not about the Avengers. The Avengers were such a minuscule part of that episode. That episode was about Thanos. That episode was about the villain. That episode gave the villain his backstory, gave him pathos, made us understand where he was coming from, made us look through his eyes and see what the issue was and understand why he's doing what he's doing, so that when he takes the actions that he's taking, we'll understand it. He can act out of character because we understand that he is now a bigger faceted character. If they would have taken a single episode, imagine this, Jeff, a single episode that really didn't focus on Sheridan, Delenn, Ivanova. Oh wait, Ivanova's gone. Garibaldi. It didn't focus on any of those, but just focused on Byron and his backstory with Bester and where that led him to this path. If we would have gotten that, let's say episode 4 or 5, 6 might have been a little too late, but relatively early, and let that recolor everything we've seen so far, this could have been such a way more compelling deal. I thought the guy that played Byron, this is when he was doing the stuff against Bester, when he was acting against Bester, that is the best acting I have seen that actor do as Byron. It is one of the few times I didn't want to just grab a pillow and lay down and take a nap when he was on screen.
Well, if you look at his IMDb page, the guy, I mean, he is ubiquitous. He's everywhere.
Is he?
Super prolific voice actor in a ton of stuff. Like the guy's got a ton of work. I think and I agree, him and Bester was great. And what it says is, dude, Rowan Atkinson or whatever his name is, he's bringing the goods, but between the writing and the directing, you get a pancake with no butter or syrup. They didn't even put vanilla in the batter. It's just,
Rowan Atkinson would have been brilliant in this role.
Yeah.
Bring in Mr. Bean, like
I don't know what this dude's actor's name is, but it's something like that.
It's like Robin something or other.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was my wishful thinking on that. But, I don't remember if it was Game of Thrones that did this or which one of the more modern, big TV things, but they would do that where they'd be an episode that actually happened 9 years ago. And just like Regent Verini, those scenes on Centauri Prime were so compelling because we know that he's got dude on his shoulder telling him what to do. No one else knows that. And if we got that episode of Black Omega Squadron, Byron and Bester out getting blips and doing the stuff, and we knew that, but Lita and no one else knew it, that it would have been so much more compelling. And then when he shared the story, he's opening his heart. It would have been this warm, amazing moment of connection. But instead, it was just like, oh, of course. Of course you've got a connection with Bester, because why wouldn't you?
I mean, and maybe we would have understood some of the brokenness of where he jumps back and forth to, we're telepaths, we're awesome, and we just want to be better than everybody else. And even at their expense, we're just going to do this. To actually, I don't want to kill the mundanes. And we're not going to do this, and we're going to be better by it. But we are better than all of you guys out there, and we're so mad at you guys, and we're so pissed off. It would have given us this reference point for, frankly, why he's so confused. Why he doesn't really know what he wants or where he's going. Why people are rallying around him. Oh, yeah. Also, the best part of the entire trilogy of prequel movies from Star Wars? It's the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that tension that something is going to happen because they're going to be on opposite sides by the end. To know that that's what's happening here with Bester and Byron and to see that coming, like it just would have improved the whole thing.
Well, they had the episode when Bester first came on board. We even had the conversation. I was like, is there a relationship between these two? It's so personal. And so the next episode, tell the story. Just go in. But it's just boop, boop. I think that's one of the things is Babylon 5 planted seeds. I remember, gosh, it was early in the third season, I think I gave this metaphor of like when you lay grass seed down, not when you're putting sod or turf, but putting the stuff and you lay it down, you work super hard, you plant all these seeds, you water it in, you look at your work and you're like, it's a field of dirt. This is dumb. Geometry of shadows here, right? Like, what is this? And then you come back a season later and you're like, look how beautiful. Oh my God, this is incredible. They tried to do that in like this 6 episode arc without ever watering the seeds.
Yeah. Because then we get something like here where he's turned into Gumby. All of a sudden, he's concerned about the mundanes. He's concerned about normal people, and he doesn't want to hurt them. And he like, what? No, huh? I don't know. People out there are probably firing up the keyboards telling us why we're wrong about all of this and how they have seeded it and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah, if they did, they weren't good seeds. Here's the seed they planted that paid off, and I was so upset when it did. It's that stupid song they sang. I'm like, you're really? We're gonna sing that? Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah. But and then he goes to off himself, and I'm sitting there going, is he really going to kill himself? Like, are they going to go down that route? Because I thought he was going to eat that PPG.
Same.
Like, I really did, and I was
holding
like,
it up the whole.
Are they going to show him do that? Like, oh my gosh, this would have been. And then nope, it's a chemical spill, and he shoots the chemical spill and kills the 4 or 5 people around him that also did the damage stuff. Like, we are who we are. We're the animals now, and there's no going back. I'm like, yeah, there is.
Yeah.
What are you? He's concerned. That's the other thing. Imagine this. He feels so much guilt over what he did with shooting those people that all of this is about the single thing of him searching for his own redemption.
Yep.
That makes this more compelling.
His whole line was that all the others, you, Lita, the others are my redemption for sins past. I think we're talking about betrayal of character. This whole end betrayed everything we learned from passing through Gethsemane on. That, you can find redemption. God, Sheridan is telling him, bro, it does not have to end like this. Lita is saying it doesn't have to end like this. Bester is literally staring at him like, what are you doing? Like, every single person is there saying what, except for the telepaths around him who are just like, what? I wonder what you're going to do.
Yeah. and then everything comes out at remember Byron, as if like he's like, no. Jeff, I do need to pause just for a second.
Okay.
I'll be 30 seconds. Give me just one moment.
So.
See, you guys get the behind the scenes version. Told you. Anyway, what were we saying?
The Byron's terrible.
Byron's awful, but he's gone. But Jeff, you know how this whole thing ends? We got our wish. Byron's gone.
Yeah.
We don't have to deal with him anymore. We might have to deal with the fallout, but we don't have to deal with him.
But he's not there. I think one of the big things that was said in the whole thing, though, is when like Bester's just blown away, literally. Haha. But he's just like, I don't understand. I mean, we got to focus on who the real enemy is. And Sheridan's like, us, the mundanes. And Bester just totally blows past. He doesn't even acknowledge it. It was such a power move by Bester where he's like, I'm so far above you, President Sheridan, I'm not even going to acknowledge that you just called me out on exactly what it is.
I got a question about Psycor.
Okay.
Bester goes through this whole spiel about speaking to his fellow people at the beginning of the episode. These are our children. Don't forget, even though we're on other sides, these are our people. These are our children. The core is mother. The core is father. We've got to bring them home alive. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then later, he's talking to, was it Lockley? I think he was talking to Lockley, where he talks about how every species out there that has telepaths has had to do something with them. They all use things like drugs, religion, laws, extermination to control them. Earth uses Psycor. Psycor is an organization that they bring them in, they teach them how to use their gifts, they give them rules, they give them boundaries, they set them up, they release them to be of service to the community, to be able to make a living from that. They're not just sponging off of the world. They have the ability to make a good living and make a good life for themselves. Yes, there are rules that they have to abide by. Yes, Psycor certainly has some shady underpinnings as far as their political ambitions and stuff.
Mhm.
But Bester basically says, like, yeah, you may not like what we do at Psycor, but it's like the best thing out there that's going for telepaths. Is he right? Is Psycor actually, like, when you consider it, is it really the like one of the best methods for what they've got to do?
I think it's tough to tell because our other examples are the Centauri and the Minbari, and they kind of do their thing, right? Like it doesn't
They just let them be in society, yeah.
yeah, maybe there's some religion, around stuff, and I mean, what we don't know, like maybe are all Minbari telepaths religious caste, right? And so there's some strictures or whatever. We don't know. The Centauri, what I know about that is we saw in passing through Gethsemane that like dude can just head down below and hit Brother Edward with something. Like they're out doing whatever. I don't think it's true. I don't think it's the best going. But I also think like so many things that are organizational, like Psycor, if it were done right and altruistically, it's pretty great. But you get the wrong people in power and without the checks and balances that are necessary, and well, you end up with what we have that we've seen now.
I was gonna say, and then you get something that actually started altruistically that is no longer altruistic.
Yeah, gets all manipulated and twisted because of people,
Man.
And looking at you, Catholic Church, right now.
Yeah, it happens. Also speaking of Bester, I very much appreciated the cold open of this episode. Is it for like last week we had the monologue by Lockley. It was the hey, let's catch you up on what's going on if you haven't been around because now we're on TNT all of a sudden. This episode was the exact same thing, but you know what this opening was?
Huh.
This opening was last time on Babylon 5 without being last time on Babylon 5.
Right.
Like
let's just cut in real quick with a
previously on Babylon 5.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It was that without being that. And in fact, I love Bester's. He says, a few words for those of you who've just arrived. I wish he would have just looked into the camera when he said it.
Right. Totally on point.
Oh, man.
But the best Bester we got was with Garibaldi in this one.
Two dudes in a room talking. Absolutely. Yep. Garibaldi gets Asimov'd, he said.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you about this, Jeff.
Okay.
I'm getting kind of sick of the name Asimov.
Yeah.
It seems, I think maybe I've just heard it in so many different places and so many different people reference it. And I understand the reverence that people have for Isaac Asimov and what he's done for science fiction and what he means out there. But holy heck, everybody talks about him. It's like everybody has this reference. We've had the ship, the Asimov, this entire time keeps coming back. It's like, I Asimov'd you. Like, really? Come on, dude. Like we got it. Like, I understand. We've all seen the movie iRobot by now. Like we got it.
Yeah. I mean, when that finally, that idea of Isaac Asimov's that Will Smith was finally able to make reality. I mean, I don't know whatever came before that, but thank goodness for Will Smith in his early 2000s, bringing what should have been powerful literature to the screen.
Yeah. And, honestly, iRobot is I think that's a movie that the more you watch it, the more you see it, and the more brilliant it actually winds up becoming. Now, I can't do anything to compare it to the novel, And if you compare it to the novel, it's going to fail in almost every aspect. But if you take it as a film. Anyway, he talks about the rules.
Mm-hmm.
He turned Garibaldi into a robot and inserted 2 of these rules. Now, he said, I gave you 2 of the rules. There are 3 rules, but actually he only gave him 1 rule that just has 2 facets to it.
Yep.
Just to be clear. The rules were you cannot kill me, or through an action allow harm to come to me. Now, Asimov's rule was a human, but still. I forget what the second rule is, but Jeff, I noted there was 1 rule specifically that Bester did not implant into Garibaldi. He did not implant the one that says you're not allowed to hurt yourself.
Right.
Or through an action allow harm to come to you. I forgot about the middle rule, so I was thinking like, oh, he got 2 of them and he left this one off. And I'm sitting here going, and it was so like there that I'm going, in this moment, what is this, 9 minutes into the episode? And I'm thinking, he didn't give him the limit to not hurt himself or bring harm to himself. This is a setup for Garibaldi to either kill himself or drop back into his addiction.
Yep.
Like from right then, I was like, he's going to drop back into his addiction. And sure enough, by the end of the episode, Jeff, I was heartbroken to see it happen. I also was not surprised.
I was actually encouraged.
Oh yeah?
Like, so, and I don't know, and I might be way off on this.
Okay.
But like, I watched it happen and there's a big part of me just like, no, don't do it. But another part of me being like, he gets it. There are things in our lives that are bigger than us. And hopefully for most of us out there in the world, we don't have to face these things ever.
Yeah.
But Garibaldi has a couple of times, and this is one of them. And what he knows is there's this neural block that is hard-coded into his system. I don't know about you, Brent, but when I've downed stuff probably not nearly as potent as an Afterburner Whiskey, which is a really cool label on that thing, anything blocking my neural stuff kind of disappeared and went away. This wasn't Garibaldi getting upset, being depressed, feeling defeated. This was Garibaldi saying, if I take this stuff down, it'll bring the neural block down with it, and I can take out Bester. He's willing to sacrifice himself to take him down. And I get it. I get it.
Is the alcohol supposed to bring down the neural block?
That's my guess.
Maybe. I mean, the only thing that I hate about that is just from a literary standpoint, we already have alcohol brings down the guard of the Watchers.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to use alcohol to bring down the guard of the telepaths. I would hope that would surpass being in a drunken state.
But think how not cool, that's really the wrong word. Think how powerful that is, though, from a literary sense. Step back from alcohol as the tool and think of the people being impacted. You've got Londo, who the first season was, I mean, he literally would go in the bar and drink other people's drinks that they'd left behind. Like,
right.
Dude sucking the stuff dry. And then you've got Garibaldi, who's not just, he is in recovery. He is not drinking this. They both have to come to a place to use this tool from their points of completely different perspectives, points of view, and experience. I think that's a very powerful storytelling tool if they choose to use those against each other. And for it to be Londo and Garibaldi, right? Who had the, hey, let's have a drink, even a chemically inoffensive one. You know, like they've intersected on this alcohol thing a number of times. I think it's pretty great, actually.
I got to be honest with you. I really hope you're right. And I don't think you are. But I hope you're right, because I would much rather have this be an intentional action by Garibaldi to defeat this thing than a guy who had a perfect storm of situations come up that is a formula for an addict falling back into their own ways. And that's the way I read it, and that's the way I'm going to stay with it until we see different. And I hope you're right, Jeff. But I really think that what's happening here is Garibaldi is falling off the wagon, and he's succumbing back to his old ways and his old addiction. And it never surprises me when an addict goes back to those ways.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It breaks my heart, but it never surprises me. Because
this was-
it's always there. It's always a presence in that person's life. And it's a continual fight. Like it's not a surprise.
If this was third or fourth season of Babylon 5, I would tell you flat out, you are wrong. This is deep and they're doing some stuff. But so far, halfway through the 5th season, there is no evidence that the writing is going to have depth or be complex here at all.
You ain't lying.
Yeah, and
oh
hey,
my word.
Sorry, people. I know, like that's almost blasphemous, but outside of the very long night of Londo Mollari, tell me I'm wrong.
There's been a couple of good episodes. Yeah.
One thing I noted when he was talking about the Asimov, though, is pre-ban cyberneticists used these rules. So there was a ban on robots in Earth's history. Now, that's a story I would like to hear.
That line, and is that going to come back, or is that just a cool line that dude wrote?
It'd be neat. I mean, I got a Mass Effect one. I'll get a Dune one. That's very Balerian Jihad kind of a thing where they take down, all the thinking machines. That'd be cool. But I'm like, we know there's some offshoot stuff, out there from Babylon 5. It would be cool if there was a little story about like when the robots rose up and what we did to take them down.
Can we, before we move on, can we just take a moment and give Bester all the credit in the world for doing this? When he reprogrammed, deprogrammed Garibaldi, like knowing that this could come and this could happen, and he set that up. And I thought Walter Koenig, he played this to a T. He's like, oh, I'm so surprised. Oh, he closes his eyes, he opens one at a time, and he goes and he sits on the couch and has his own little drink and leaves the glass there, an empty glass right next to his glass. And he's just like, yep, better luck next time, pal. And my Doyle.
Jerry
Doyle, thank you. He's sitting there, he's holding the PPG and he's shaking in his hand because he can't make it happen. And then he eventually just out of frustration shoots the TV monitor. Like, it was such a good scene for an otherwise blah episode. Changing topics.
Well, before you change topics there, I think what was it recolors. Was it Between the Darkness and the Light when Garibaldi, and we found out Bester was the one who programmed Garibaldi, but they're in that train and Bester's like, on one hand, I can kill you. On the other hand, I can just let you go. And he's toying with him. It recolors that whole scene because he knows he's going to let him go. And he knows he's going to cat and mouse him into, like, he's playing out this scene that we saw right here in that moment in the train where he's like, oh, this is going to be so much fun to make this thing happen. And it made me see that whole thing in a really different and really fun light. Light in a horrible, horrible way for Garibaldi.
Bester just toying with the mundane's minds.
Yeah.
What did you think Byron being a P12, being super powerful? I don't think I ever got that he was that powerful.
Oh, I got that. Especially back in A View from the Gallery when I forget if it was Bo or Mac, but they're like, hey, I really wonder what it's like to be out there in the Starfury. And he's like, oh, is that what you really like? You're there. He did some pretty cool stuff, like beyond the line of sight stuff that we generally need.
Yeah. Makes me wonder how much he has impacted his own telepaths around him. He gets into it and then he like sort of almost infects what they have going on if he's that powerful.
He follows The Secret. He has got a little vision board and he makes his brain waves and
So I've got two more things.
Okay.
On here. I don't know about you, but one, I want to discuss this idea of Sheridan coming to a spot where he comes on TV and he goes, it is not our policy, and it will not be our policy to negotiate with terrorists for the lives of hostages. It made me stop and think for a moment because I've never really thought about it before. I understand the idea, the policy of we don't negotiate. we're just, we've always heard that, like, America has a no negotiation policy. We don't negotiate. I think we've seen that not be true.
Many times. Yeah.
We do negotiate sometimes.
Pretty consistently, actually.
Yeah, actually. But just that concept, like, we don't negotiate. That I understand the need for that policy. Like, I get it. I fully get it, because as soon as you do, then that becomes the go-to for everybody who wants to twist your hand.
Yeah.
And if they know that they can eventually get you to give in because of that, then it doesn't stop. Like, I get it. But he added the line, "We don't negotiate with terrorists for the lives of hostages." And I'm like, dude, there's something so cold about, kill them. We're not negotiating with you. I think the understanding is if you have our people, we're going to come in and get them.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to negotiate with you, but we will come get them. We've also seen in real life now that they can have our people and we don't go get them.
Mm-hmm.
We just let them stay while they try to negotiate and figure it out in diplomatic channels and whatnot. So I don't know. It hit me kind of in a new way hearing him say, "We don't negotiate for the lives of hostages." I was like,
I have some headcanon around that, because there was this scene where he and Delenn were talking, and he was like, dude, Garibaldi's been here from day one. Like, he's the most senior staff of the command team. Like, he was kind of building up, like, this is a big deal, and I don't want to be the one to make this happen. Mm-hmm. And there's two parts in it that tell the story for me. One is, I think that he was sending a message to Garibaldi that, like, sorry, bro, like, this sucks and I hate to do it, but here it is. So he's being very explicit. But I also remember in Deconstruction of Falling Stars, and even here, like, his voice was really gravelly when he says that. And it wasn't even him being tough. It was just, we do not. It was very non-Sheridan voice tone. I think he was broken down. I think he'd been, like, crying and upset. I think he was broken around sacrificing Garibaldi for this. Maybe even Dr. Franklin. I mean, Franklin was there, but the real focus was on Garibaldi. And when he came on to say the thing, he had steeled himself. And he was going to stay stern and say this and be like, we do not do this. And I'm playing a part right now to tell you that. That's just my story. That if
that's the case, that is an incredible level of acting on the part of Bruce Boxleitner,
which we've seen time and time again.
Does Bruce Boxleitner smoke?
I don't know.
Because it also seems like that could be like he'd just come off a cigarette break.
Sheridan might have. I don't know if Boxleitner does or not, but he could have been like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to do something.
Yeah. Speaking of people's voices, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to bag on people, but Lockley's voice just gets on my nerves. There's something about it. There's a timbre to it that mellows the whole thing out and doesn't give it the punch. Ivanova had like a punch to her voice.
Yeah.
Captain Lockley, she just, there's this, I don't know. Like, it's weird. It's an observation. It's our job here to document our thoughts, I guess, on this as a first time watch. Like, I'm not calling her out. I'm not saying she's bad. I'm not saying she's awful. There's just something about it that just doesn't get it for me.
Two words come to mind for me: clinical and wooden.
Yeah.
Like, it's and not wooden like absolutely nothing at all going on, but just a very clinical line delivery. I haven't seen anything else that Tracy Scoggins has ever done. I'm not aware of anything else. But can
I give you the biggest sin of what it really reminded me of?
Yeah.
Liana Kimmer.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. No, dude. Different ball games. Totally different ball games.
I don't know.
Because I think that when I hear Lockley speak, and I hear you, right? Like, there's definitely something in the delivery of her voice that is just not right. It's line read, right? Like, there's a definite line read to what she does, but it's an affect I can understand as someone who is still new to a command of this level, who's putting together a certain trying to build her own gravitas, almost, as it were. Not succeeding, but trying.
Yep. So I guess the final thing from me on this is we got to come down to what this episode meant, what this episode, the purpose this episode serves. It can't just have been the end of the telepath war, which is what I was really thinking. You said something earlier to me today, and I was like, oh yeah, you're probably right. We get this whole scene at the end with Lita, who has received the memories, and now she is going to embody them, and she's going to be the one to take it to the next level, and she's going to be the one to ratchet it all up, and it's going to be in his name, but she's received this. Oh, by the way, she's also been jacked up by the Vorlons. Just reminding everybody about that as well. This sounds very what was his name, Jeff? Oh, Talia's old boyfriend that made her all jacked up. Ironheart.
Nope.
No.
Stoner. Matt Stoner.
Nope. The guy who ascended and gave her the extra special powers.
That was Ironheart. Yeah.
Ironheart. Yeah. It had that kind of a like, I'm gonna amp you up. So now it's not just Lita, it's not just the Vorlons, it's Lita, the Vorlons, and Byron now living in her, embodying her as she, we're gonna do this for Byron and his deal. But here's the question. Was this the end of the telepath war? Or is this the beginning? Is Lita going to take us down a line where this really ratchets up and really turns into something? And if so, why the hell did we have Byron for 11 episodes? It could have been done in 3.
Yep. And this is the beginning. I'm going to guess 4 more episodes of this.
Or 10.
Yeah. Oh God.
All right, Jeff.
4 is 4 more. 4 is 5 more than I can handle on this.
Yeah.
I
mean, do the whole thing with Byron, let it get to where it gets, and then move on to this. And I hope that this is going to be cool, what we're getting ready to get into, that all of this has just been prologue for what's getting ready to happen. It really could have been 3 episodes, maybe 4 with Byron. Anyway, with that being said, Jeff, we have reached that part of the show where it is time to boil it all down and see if in this particular episode, were there any of those deep moral messages? Is it holding up a mirror to society? Is it giving us hope that we can be better in the future? Is it that Star Trek message? That it's not a Star Trek message. It's just a message that Babylon 5 is delivering in its own unique way. Jeff, you're going to do that. You're going to break this down in those terms by rating this episode on a scale of 0 to 5 white stars as to how strong that message is and how Babylon 5 was that message. Jeff, what do you got for us this week?
This episode was its own worst enemy. Like, there was an attempted message in here about becoming the thing you swore that you would never be, but that kind of literally blew up in everyone's face. They also tried, and I copied these lines down, I tried to teach them, to show them there's another way than violence. Did I fail that badly? The answer is yes. And then Lita says, you can't change human nature, Byron. Then there's not much point in living, is there? We can't hope for something better, something nobler, at least something kinder. Yeah, that all fell apart, right? By saying, like, this was all his dream. He never actually did any of this. He didn't teach anyone nonviolence. It propped up these ideas, and over these last string of episodes have been trying to show it to us, and it all fell apart. This is a 0 white star episode. In fact, I would almost say this is a negative white star episode because it shot itself in the foot so blatantly on some really cool ideas that were there, but just complete failure in execution.
I can't argue anything you just said. I can't.
Well, I'm itching for an argument here. So let's see if we get one, because Brent, it's your turn to rank this episode. We are creating the definitive ranking of all of the episodes in the 5th season of Babylon 5. Our current top 5 has The Very Long Night of Londo Mollari in the top spot. No Compromises in number 2, then Learning Curve, A View from the Gallery, and rounded out with Day of the Dead. Brent, where are you going to put Phoenix Rising?
It's not in the top 5.
Dang it. I was hoping you were going to go for it.
It's not even close in the top 5. My question is I'm thinking it's in the bottom 3. Just where in the bottom 3? Is this the worst episode of the season so far? That would make it worse than Secrets of the Soul. I'm looking at my notes from Secrets of the Soul, and here's what I said. I said this was an incredibly weak episode. It was eye-rolling in so many ways, but it said a lot about that was the Hayek and the Hayek Doe and everything that it had going on. I think it was a really poignant episode, even if the episode itself was rather weak. Above that is Strange Relations in our what would that be, our number 9 spot. And this was another Bester episode, and Bester couldn't save it. It was just telepaths being telepaths. Jeff, I think I would actually, if I could, I would put Secrets of the Soul above Strange Relations, but I can't do that yet. We're not at that spot. We'll talk about that when we get to our season wrap up. But Jeff, to me, this episode wasn't a great episode, and it didn't say pretty much anything. Secrets of the Soul wasn't a great episode, but it had a lot to say. So this one goes below Secrets of the Soul. This is number 11.
I was hoping for an argument, but you're not going to get one from me.
But again, you know what I'm not doing is I'm not placing this at number 21 or 22 as of right now. Like I'm not throwing it all the way down there. We've done that before.
We have. That's not even necessarily on the merit of this episode. It's on what we are coming to expect from future episodes.
It's got to get better, right, Jeff? Right?
We keep saying it, but you know what? Let's notch another one down. That's it for Phoenix Rising. Next week, we're going to be watching The Ragged Edge for the first time. We've never seen these episodes before. We avoid thumbnails at all costs. No spoilers, no descriptions. And the fun game we love playing to wrap up each episode is where we guess what the next episode will be about based on the title alone. Brent, you get to go first. What do you think The Ragged Edge is going to be about?
I have no idea. We've wrapped up this storyline. There's the Lita thing. I don't think we're going to revisit that for a while. You say Ragged Edge. The only thing that I think about in terms of anything having to do with this is Garibaldi going back into the bottle and getting ragged, right? But I feel like that's too loose of a thing. So yeah, this should be about Garibaldi being back in the bottle. Like I've got to make a Brent prediction for what this is going to be. So buckle in. I have no reason to predict this. You ready for it? Here we go. The Ragged Edge. This is so stupid. The Ragged Edge. Remember, this is on TNT. Remember what happened with Penn and Teller a couple weeks ago? The Ragged Edge is a very popular musical band that is super huge among the Interstellar Alliance, and they are coming to Babylon 5 to put on a show. And while they're there, stuff happens that's like really important. But that's going to be the Ragged Edge. Is it's this musical band that comes to Babylon 5 that's like, and it's going to be somebody like Maroon 5, or it's some popular, late 90s, mid 90s TNT's forcing it on the show to do it. And these guys are going to come and see what it's like in the Alliance on Babylon 5.
If Mark McGrath and Sugar Ray show up on Babylon 5,
yes.
I might never watch this show again.
That's all I mean, here's the wheel of possible episode topics we could have. Let's spin it, and there we go.
I think that Garibaldi's going to get blitzed, and he's going to go after Bester. It's going to take him to Mars. and he's going to have some come-uppance when he runs into Lise. Remember that lady he married a little while ago? Lise Hampton Edgar's Garibaldi? He's going to be
She kept her first two names. Didn't go with Garibaldi's.
She's like, I'm just going to keep Hampton Edgar's. That seems to be better. But so he's going to come face to face with her drunk, and then that's going to be like a moment and lead to some stuff with Bester. But I think the important part of it is he's going to end up on Mars. Then the other side of the story, telepath war, right? Stuff going wild on Earth. We'll get the literal fallout from the bombing of the Psi Corps headquarters, and rising violence, all in the name of Byron. And I guess we're going to find out. I don't know which one of these two episodes I dread more, yours or mine, but we'll find.
It's not mine. For the record, it's not mine.
Do you know? I have no idea. Nothing past it at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
My God.
But the idea that TNT is forcing popular music, folk or whatever, to be pushed into the show somehow, some way, like that's totally plausible.
Please do not tell us now. We'll find out right here next week when we watch The Ragged Edge. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this conversation. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you're watching or listening. Leave us a rating and a review, and please share this with someone who either already loves Babylon 5 or is just about to fall in love with this series. So until next time.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, what's up?
Question for you.
Okay.
We talked a bit earlier about how they could have made this whole thing better if they would have given Byron like his own episode with his own backstory. So here's my question for you. What is your supervillain backstory?
Really?
Yeah.
So, let me paint a small picture for you, right? So it's a beautiful summer day, probably right around, this would have been about 1997, 1998. I am deeply in love with this woman that I've known for a couple of years. We're rowing, we're kayaking, I guess is what you call it. We're on a big, nice lake. We're kayaking. I think everything's going amazingly until she tells me about this other guy that she just met. And things are great. And we're in the middle of a lake. And I'm looking around and I'm just like, oh my God, my heart is breaking. It's horrible. So as I'm choking back the tears, trying to say, yeah, it's cool, it's cool, I slowly roll us back to shore as we're kind of coming and packing everything up. This is where it gets kind of weird. So just follow along. This group of ninjas come out of nowhere and they're just like, bro, we heard what went down out there. We can take care of this for you. And I'm like, no, you can't do it. No one will know. It'll be quiet. We'll slip her away. I can't believe I'm sharing this on oh my God. I couldn't believe I was even considering it, but I looked at him and I said, do it. And Brent, that day, the trail of blood between then and now. Hey, what about you? What's your supervillain story?
Dude, I don't really have one. I was just trying to kill some time till we could get the hell out of here.
Initiating getting the hell out of here maneuver.
We're not some deep space franchise. This station is about something.
Literally in the notes. Brent, what is your villain backstory? Jeff, in parentheses, Jeff answers, it better involve ninjas. Oh, hey,
for the record, everything up to the ninjas is true. That actually happened to me. Yeah,
dude, that is your supervillain.
That's a thing up to the ninjas. That's a thing that to this day I talk about in therapy. Like that's a core memory for Mr. Akin. Right.
I didn't start laughing till you said ninjas. For the record, which I'm not trying to laugh at your pain. It's just like, oh my gosh. Hey. So we said earlier here on YouTube that this is like the third week in a row where it's been like, watch the episode, record. Also, duties have taken over. Parenting duties have taken over. So I know you got yours. I certainly have mine. We're going to have to cut this one short. It's kind of apropos for this episode anyway.
Right.
But hey, Club 65, you guys are awesome. We'll come talk to you guys in a couple weeks. Well, next week, actually. But you guys know we'll be back. Thank you so much. Drop 65 down in the comments. Let us know that you were here and you made it all the way through to the end. You guys rock. You're awesome. Jeff, say bye.
Bye.